Chris Brownie, the writer, producer, director. The thing about this film, Ghett'a Life, is it's been a 10-year journey.
It is election year and the ghetto is at war.
The island's two political parties traded charges over who was responsible for the recent upsurge of gun violence. The violence between residents of the ruling party and the opposition stronghold of Jungle has continued over several weeks.
As you know, we live in a divided constituency. And as the opposition step up their attacks against us, families pack up and leave. We're losing votes daily.
I swear I could get in a national boxing team, you know.
Boxing. As a matter of fact, I don't want to hear anything at all about no fighting, period.
But what if national team, Olympics?
You can't go back there. That is that. My son not mixing with the devil.
Or you'd like to join the gym?
Mr. Jingles.
I'm coming from the other side.
It's alright. It now go work.
Can one boy's passion unite this community? Or will his attempt destroy him?
And if Jesus Christ want crucify, bow yeah, God have to ask me permission.
Coming soon.
The whole idea of this film thing really came around when I went with some Peace Corps workers actually in Jamaica up to Sandy Park to a boxing match set in the city of Jamaica, which I thought was amazing. It just had this really kind of, really roots underground kind of feeling to it, like underground rock, so to speak.
There is a certain romance about Ghett'a Life, and Chris is interested in talking about grassroots, ordinary people, the people that make up the mass of Jamaica, and what they have to go through.
What is there in Jamaica? I mean, what do people get passionate about? They don't, we don't kill one another over God like the rest of the world for some reason. I mean, but what we do kill one another over is politics. Which side of the divide you vote, especially in Kingston, in these garrison communities. So I said, well, let's be the backdrop of this boxer who happens to cross the line during elections to want to pursue his dream. But only that the dream now is unattainable because, Jamaican garrisons are very notorious in not letting you cross that line to the other side, and so I thought you couldn't get any more divisive than that. So then if the character had to cross that divide, then his father would definitely support the garrison system, and he himself would have to be kind of like a politician. So I began investigating and trying to meet these people and what they have to say on society, and why would they be such a diehard, and what would change them. And only that is the turning point in the story. What would really change the character, the father of the son, to make him support his family as opposed to support the party, which is like ingrained in him and ingrained in most people in Jamaica.
Cause why? We is Jesus, and them is the devil, and the devil can never be Jesus.
So eventually, when I'd done a few drafts and everything like that, some English producer got heard of it.
A gentleman by the name of Rupert Harvey, who has done big films, Nightmare on Elm Street, huge films. And he came down and interviewed Chris and fell in love with the project. We submitted it to the British Film Council, and it got greenlit for funding. And after that, the gentleman who was in charge of the project at the British Film Council left, and the whole thing got thrown into turmoil, and for one reason or another, it just didn't get done.
And then at the same time, I submitted the film to the Hartley Merrill screenwriting competition, which is run by RKO Pictures every year, and they have an award at Cannes. and it's for 36 countries around the world, mostly European, some South American, and they send the film scripts in, and I got the prize for being the best script, which was a big surprise. But still, they didn't pick it up. It didn't go anywhere. It just created a buzz, and that was it. Finally, I said, PJ, the only way this is going to happen is that we do it ourselves.
When we produced a trailer, which was done in a day, and I mean everybody put in all the talent put in their time, and I think everybody, cut their fees to make this thing happen, because everybody loved the project. We did it in a day at JDF and other locations, and I think that was a spark to get people really excited about the project.
So that was my first big involvement in Ghett'a Life. He asked me if I would help him produce the trailer, which I was thrilled to do, because we all want to make movies, and mostly we want to make movies that are locally financed.
We also did a scene in a trailer in the back of the carpenter's workshop with the saw. And it was clear to everybody from that scene that this movie was going to be good.
So we eventually decided to put together a group, a Jamaican group, led by Pan Caribbean Bank, who put together a group of investors who loved the project.
And before you know it, within 6 months we had raised the money, and we started casting.
It's greenlit. We don't have enough time. We need to get going, because we're shooting in 4 weeks, full stop.
There hasn't been a feature film of this sort made in Jamaica in a long time. And a film that had to be as organized, be as specific. And luckily for us, Chris went out and did the location scouting himself.
And so we spent the next couple of days trying to figure out how to fit 11 departments of film into 3 offices.
The crew was very good to us. I mean, we can't say that the crew disappointed us at this time. I think the crew is very good to us when they know that it is a Jamaican production.
I knew from the beginning, whether working as second or working as first, that I was going to have to work my ass off, because ADs, they don't sleep.
We're breaking for lunch.
We were very, very lucky in certain key areas like sound, because we did not have in our minds, we're going to use this person. But in the long run, we found somebody who had never done a film before, and he was very good.
The hardest part about working in downtown Jamaica, from my standpoint, is just the noise everywhere. I mean, we try to deal with it, but thankfully we're getting around all the obstacles.
We were dealing with a sport, and the sport was boxing, and we had to get experience in that area to work with us. We got Roy Anderson, Roy is a big stunt coordinator in the States. He works all the time, and he was able to come and give us 4 weeks on this movie, and that helped us.
I helped choreograph the boxing moves and the scenes, and also to work with the director to make sure that the boxing looked good for camera.
Bobby Bukowski was a DP, and he helped me a lot, and because he has more experience in doing this sort of shooting.
And Bobby is a great DP from New York, who used to live in LA. He's done big pictures and done small. That's why I really thought of him, because he's open to all kind of other films.
I've known about it for several years, and we always made a promise to each other to work together.
And Bobby Bukowski took up the challenge and came. He was very, very cooperative with us. He came and prepped it with us. It was a short prep for him because he was coming off another job. But he was very, very good in that what he did for us is that he did not come here with the attitude of having, we didn't have to pamper him. His lighting, his style. I mean, I'm not on the creative side, but that was so impressive for us, and it was easy. He did not need to have 10 million lights to light a scene.
Low-budget movies like this don't have enough prep time. We just don't have it. We have to spend the money on the screen, so we have to spend the money when we're shooting. It's just that simple.
It was very, very, very intense. You worked day and night to get it together. Very few of the characters had their own clothes. As a matter of fact, nobody had their own clothes. Derek was probably the easiest, because I knew right away that he was going to be in gym clothes and boxing clothes. The most challenging were, I would say, the Don.
Football wear.
In one garrison, there can be two different political strongholds. So you have the orange side, and there was always, I was so conscious of having to always add those colors in so that you could see the separation. Justine and I worked so closely. One of her challenges was not just dealing with the sponsors and the investors, but to place product.
Ghett'a Life is setting a new standard in terms of product placement in film in Jamaica, and it will help future films to have these products placed the way they have been placed, and because I know these companies are going to be very, very happy about their investment. But as I said, it took a while to convince them, because film in Jamaica is fairly unknown. Even though Harry They Come was 40 years ago, we've made relatively few films in that time, and fewer still that are homegrown Jamaican investment. So it's a learning curve for everyone, and including the sponsors and the product placement. But I think that with the success of this film, they will be even more eager to join us the next time around.